Hey y'all, it's Stacy. Welcome back to the kitchen. Today we're going to tackle classic Southern deviled eggs. And anybody that's ever made deviled eggs, you know that the biggest challenge is getting the shells off the boiled eggs. But I've got a few quick tips that are going to help make that a whole lot easier. If you love this video and love this recipe, we sure would love it if you would like this video and also subscribe to our channel. That way you get notified every time we post new videos of quick and easy recipes that help you get supper on the table. You know, arguably, the hardest part to making deviled eggs is peeling the eggs. And while there's tons of people out there that will tell you you need to add salt to your water, or you need to add baking soda, or you need to do this, or you need to do that, there are two things that I have found that really make a difference, and they're actually pretty easy. Now, I will say that one of the things that I love is this little Dash egg cooker. It steams your eggs, it's super simple, and they're perfect every time. They're inexpensive, and they make this process really easy. This one does 6, which is perfect for our recipe today, but you can buy them that do a whole dozen eggs, and like I said, it's so easy. I also often use my Instant Pot, because the trick for me is steaming, and I learned that from this little device here. Steaming the eggs really helps in this process. Now, I'm going to show you how to steam them on the stovetop, but again, if you have one of these, it makes it so easy. Like I said too, I often will use my Instant Pot, and I've included instructions on the website in the blog post about how to do that too. But today I'm going to show you how to do it on the stovetop because not everybody has a steamer or an Instant Pot. What I've done is I've got about 1/2 inch of water simmering in a large pot here. I'm going to put a steamer basket right in here because we're going to steam these eggs, but we're also going to give them a little bit of a head start. I'm going to use a thumbtack or a push pin here. I'm just going to poke a tiny hole in the bottom of each egg, and they're going to go right into our steamer basket here. This hole makes this process so much easier. It makes them so much easier to peel. And I know the first time that I saw this, I thought, I'm going to break the shell. I've done this hundreds of times and I've never broken a shell. So all I'm doing is just taking that push pin or thumbtack and just pushing it right into the bottom of the egg and making a tiny hole, and the steam is going to help separate that membrane, that lining from inside the shell. Now, one thing that I always do is add an extra egg or two because inevitably one of them is going to tear or mess up or something. So give yourself a little wiggle room and add a couple extra eggs, 1 or 2, whatever you want to do, just to ensure you've got all that you need. I'm going to put the lid on this. These are going to steam for 12 to 15 minutes, just depending on the size of the eggs. I'm using large eggs here, and you want to make sure that you do this as soon as they come out of the fridge. That way they don't get room temperature and this overcooks them in the steam. All right, once these are done, we're going to immediately take them out of the steam here and plunge them in an ice bath. This is going to cool them down and stop that cooking process so that we don't end up with that ugly gray ring around the yolk. All right, when it comes time to crack your eggs, what I find works easiest for me is to take your egg and just kind of crack it on your counter all the way around so that you're loosening the shell from that membrane inside. And then in a stream of water like this with a bowl underneath, I just kind of find that spot where it's loose and then just work your way around, and those shells end up in that bowl down there below. And you can see just how easy, because we steamed these and we had that little hole in the bottom, the shells just pull right off. All right, now that our eggs are peeled, we're going to cut them in half and place all the yolks in a bowl and then put our white halves here in our deviled egg tray. Now, of course, if you don't have a deviled egg tray, any plate will work just fine. I'm just carefully rolling the knife around the egg here so that we can get the yolk out just like that. And we're just going to work through these. Next, all I'm going to do is mash my yolks. Now, my mom taught me to use a fork because I think it's just easy. And then we're going to add our other ingredients. And we're going to continue to mix these when we add our other ingredients, so it doesn't have to be super fine at this point. I've got about 3 tablespoons of mayonnaise. I've got about 1.5 teaspoons of yellow mustard. I've got 1.5 tablespoons of pickle relish. Now, I prefer dill relish, but you can also use sweet relish. I've got about 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. I'm going to add 2 dashes of a vinegar-based hot sauce like this Alabama Sunshine. maybe a little bit more, and a little salt and pepper. And then I'm just going to mix this up. All right, once that's nice and smooth, we're going to transfer our yolk mixture back into our eggs. And you can do that a couple different ways. If you're feeling fancy, you can put it in a piping bag and squeeze it in. Or you can just do like I normally do and use 2 spoons. I'm just going to get a little in my spoon here and then just use the other spoon to put it right in that cavity of where the yolk was before. Once these are done, you can garnish them with a little paprika, which is super common. My mom never used it, so I just usually do a little fresh cracked black pepper right on the top of each one. You could add some dried dill, some fresh herbs, just to give it a little jazz, to jazz it up just a little bit, fancy it up, and it's as simple as that. You see how easy it is to make these classic Southern deviled eggs. We've got a dill pickle version over on the blog too that adds even more dill pickle flavor. You can head over to the blog right now, southernbite.com, and search for classic Southern deviled eggs. I explain all of these tips and you get the full printable recipe right there. Y'all enjoy.